the reason why we are here today was to look at what are the challenges that are forcing the hospital to struggle so much about water, or what is causing the water challenges of this particular hospital. We are informed by the CEO that 2 weeks before the 3rd of February, the hospital was experiencing what we would call loosely water shedding, which would happen on quite frequently, well, not daily, but every other day. But from the 3rd to date, the hospital found itself without any wet water at all, and then hospital needed to come with alternatives. Now, we have then brought a management from the city as a hospital and as a department to get an understanding and a sense on what is it that is actually causing these challenges, and I think they're going to explain for themselves what are what is causing our problems. The first point, though, that I want to address is that there is discussion or that is making the rounds in the society that there is dirty linen within the hospital, there are toilets that are not flushed, there are flies everywhere. I do want to assure the community and the leaders that that is certainly not true. We have done a walkabout through our quality assurance team throughout the hospital to ensure that there is a management plan in place on how we are handling the situation. So the first point is that yes, the hospital is facing water challenges, and the challenges are faced by the hospital are as a result of challenges that are faced by the community. The hospital's water network is linked to that of the municipality. So when the society or the community is facing water challenges, the hospital actually also faces such challenges. Now, we discovered this problem during the floods, and as a department we did back then put some contingency plan in place, and one of those plans was to make sure that we ensure that we have a reservoir, or we have reservoirs that are available within the hospital, and we do have those reservoirs. But subsequent to that, as a department, we've also put JoJo tanks around the hospitals that patients who are able to walk, because there's a difference within our patients. Those patients who are able to walk are able to go and get water from the JoJo tanks. But we've also made an arrangement with one of the service providers from within, who works within the department and who's responsible for cleaning our grounds, to actually pour water and take it to the clinical service points, which means there is someone besides the patients who actually get water into our ward, so that patients are able to get water or access water without having to walk very, very far. Now, those are wards that are not linked to the JoJo tank. However, there is also a plan that, we have put in place a plan where a maternity ward in particular is linked to the different JoJo tanks, and they are able to access the water through flush. They are able to flush. They are able to get the water that is needed to drink. Currently, we are working on linking our ICU. We are working on linking our theaters into that system, so that they also don't struggle with the issue of water. We have been also provided by Gift of the Givers with 505-liter water, which means that's the water that we are utilizing for drinking for patients. So no one is drinking dirty water. As a department, we've also provided 30 portable toilets within the vicinity, so that those patients who are able to actually walk, they are able to, they should be able to utilize those toilets. So yes, we do have a challenge when it comes to water, but contingency plans are there, and we are dealing with that. We've also had an engagement with the municipality even before today, and made a request that they provide us with water tankers, and they have been providing us with about 4 water tankers, but we've just had a discussion today that we do not believe that the 4 is sufficient, and we are agreeing, and the municipality has made a commitment that moving forward they will provide the hospital with between 5 and 10 water tankers until they have found a solution to the challenges that are there. We as a department are also not just sitting and waiting for the municipality to solve our problems. Late 2024, we commissioned a borehole or boreholes to be put in place in the facility. Right now, we have 4 boreholes that we have commissioned. They are ready to function. We are just waiting for a filter, and we are told that that water filter will arrive on Saturday. And once that water filter is able to work, most of our problems are going to be solved. Of course, once that system starts operating, we will then check whether we need more boreholes, because currently the boreholes that have been commissioned are 4, and we need to be able to understand whether with those 4 boreholes we will be able to run the hospital for on a 24-hour basis should the need arise. So we as a department ourselves have seen the problem. It's a problem that we started planning for immediately after the floods, because even back then we saw that there were challenges, and that is why we then decided that we are putting the boreholes. So we are hoping that by Saturday our boreholes are going to be functional, but functional as they will be, we have now also have a proper plan in place between ourselves and the municipality on how we are going to operate moving forward, because if communities understand that the issue of water provision is a responsibility of the municipality, we come in as clients, but the municipality understands the importance of a hospital having to access water. We are going to also look at options, or we are going to look at how this issue of water services or unable to get water is affecting our different clinics, and we then have to come up with a plan for those clinics as well. However, for now our emergency or our crisis was with the hospital, because you have people who are sleeping, who have been admitted in the hospitals and have then had to stop. Unfortunately, the impact of this unavailability of water is very serious in the hospital. We have had to stop some elective some planned elective surgeries because of that. Out of 7 theaters as a department, we are currently operating 5 theaters, so that we are able to still do have some operations, or some operations that have been planned. So this situation has affected us very adversely, but we do have a plan, and we have started implementing the plan, and the municipality is on board. So Mr. Mapisa, I think I would want to hand over to the city and request them to just explain what is the problem, and then what is our plan moving forward. Mr. Shabalala comes from the eThekwini Metro, and he will talk to us about their plan.
Our challenges started when the water curtailment were implemented, which affected most of our reservoirs. As a result, it has also impacted on hospital, which then has caused that hospital has a shortage of water, more especially since the hospital is on the high level zone. But we have prioritized the hospital just to ensure that there are no lives that are lost due to the water shortage. We have provided the hospital with water tankers, 10, which would be on daily basis be supplying water in the hospital. And our team are searching on the line if there are any possible water leaks, which may also have an impact on the supply. So that's what we are currently doing, and we are working hand in hand with the Department of Health just to ensure that everyone is well informed of what is currently happening. Thank you, MEC.